Have you ever looked around your life and wondered why nothing seems to move forward, no matter how hard you try? You pray, you fast, you dream, and yet it feels like you're standing in a room with no doors. That feeling of spiritual suffocation, emotional fog, and a deep yearning for something more is not random. It is the symptom of a sleeping she. It is the sign that your personal God, your inner compass, your divine essence, your she, has been silenced. And I'm here to tell you, not from theory, not from a motivational quote, but from experience, that your she is not gone, it's still alive, and your destiny is not dead. Now, before I go further, I need to tell you what she really means. This isn't some vague energy or abstract light. In my tribe, and in many ancient spiritual traditions, she is not a concept, it's a being. Your she is your personal God of destiny, the part of the Creator assigned to you at birth, the voice of your original calling. It walks with you, it knows what you're called to do, it holds your timing, your divine blueprint, your power. But through the noise of the world, many of us lose that connection. Some of us never even knew it was there. I know this deeply because I went through it. I didn't grow up with much, but I grew up with sensitivity to the Spirit. As a child, I felt things before they happened. I had dreams that came true. I would speak, and people would pause, sensing something beyond my words. But in that same childhood, I was also told to be quiet, told I was imagining things, that I was too much, that God only spoke through approved people, that spirituality had to come in a certain box, a certain doctrine, a certain tone. Slowly, I started shrinking. I questioned myself, I abandoned my instincts, I became normal. But inside, I was dying. My she, my divine partner, went quiet. It wasn't until many years later, after betrayal, disappointment, and spiritual fatigue, that something inside me whispered, "Come home," and I listened. I sat still, I cried, I returned. I began learning how to speak to my she again, not in religious terms, but in spiritual truth. I began remembering who I was before the fear, before the guilt, before the world got too loud. You see, when you are born with a strong she, the world notices, and unfortunately, it does everything it can to bind it. Some people lose connection to their she because of generational covenants. Your parents, your grandparents, maybe they made spiritual agreements that gave away your divine energy. Others are tied through witchcraft or spoken words, people who saw your light and wanted it silenced. Sometimes religion itself, with all its rules and shame, teaches you to fear your own spiritual intuition, and most painfully, some of us were just emotionally wounded. When your voice was ignored as a child, when your dreams were mocked, when your gifts were shamed, your she began to shut down. But here's what I need you to understand. Your she can never be destroyed. It can be ignored, buried, tied up, but never killed, because it is the part of God assigned only to you. And right now, listening to this, you're beginning to feel it stir again. You may have noticed strange things, a sense that something is pulling you deeper, a sudden rejection of shallow conversations, a hunger for silence, nature, or truth. Maybe you've even felt cobwebs across your face, and no, that's not superstition. That is symbolic of old traps breaking. Maybe you've been having dreams again, visions, an ache in your chest that says wake up. These are not coincidences. These are the signs your she is waking up. When your she begins to stir, you'll feel uncomfortable. At first, the old life no longer fits. The people who once controlled you lose their power. You start reclaiming your voice. You start remembering you were born for something sacred. But it also means there's work to do, spiritual work. That's why I created the Divine Voice Ritual Kit and the free 7-day She Prayer Guide. They're not just PDFs or meditations. They're spiritual keys. They are language and rhythm and sacred sound meant to restore your connection to your she, so you can hear again, so you can walk in power again, so you can finally step into the path you were always meant to walk, the path where your steps are ordered not by fear, but by clarity. where you no longer chase what others think is success because you've remembered what you came here to build. This is the path where comparison ends and communion begins, where you no longer feel like a stranger in your own skin, where the noise of other people's voices is drowned out by the certainty of your own. And when you speak, people will feel something ancient in your words, not because you are trying to be deep, but because your she has returned to its rightful throne. And hear me, the return of your she is not just about spiritual awakening, it's about practical alignment. When your she rises, your finances start shifting, opportunities begin to find you, delays begin to break, you start seeing through deception, your intuition sharpens, the wrong relationships fall away not with pain, but with peace. Even your sleep changes, because when your she is in place, your world starts to realign itself around your divine blueprint and the heaviness you've been carrying. That invisible resistance that's been slowing everything down. It begins to lift, not because of luck, but because you're finally walking in the rhythm you were born with. That's why I say again, this isn't just another guide. This isn't another ritual for entertainment. This is a spiritual lifeline. The 7-day She Prayer Guide is your gentle return. It's the first breath after years of holding it in. And once you begin, you'll notice your dreams come back, your body starts healing, your eyes soften, your spirit opens. And most of all, you'll remember that the greatest relationship you ever lost was the one with your she, and the greatest miracle of your life will be when you make peace with it again. I created this guide because I know what it feels like to lose everything but still feel like something sacred is watching over you. I know what it feels like to cry on the floor and still hear a whisper inside that says, "You're not done." That whisper, that's your she calling you back. That whisper never left, even when people walked away, even when your dreams collapsed, even when you made mistakes and thought you ruined your chances. Your she never stopped waiting for you. And now it's time to respond. So I invite you, download the free guide. Don't wait another year. Don't let another version of yourself pass away in silence. Light your candle, sit with your breath, speak the words, let the invocation move through you like fire. Reclaim your name in the spirit and feel your she come alive again. And when that begins to happen, when you begin to sense your she speaking again, guiding again, opening the roads, don't stop there. Step into the full ritual. The Divine Voice Ritual Kit wasn't created for the masses. It was made for the chosen, the ones who know that their life has spiritual weight, the ones who are ready to reclaim everything that was stolen or surrendered in the dark. It includes deeper invocations, moonlight rituals, sunrise affirmations, tribal journal prompts, and audio ceremonies, all designed to restore your spiritual dominion, because your life is not a mistake, and your power was never fully taken. It was just misplaced. Now it's time to remember, time to walk again. Your she is not your past. Your she is not your trauma. Your she is not your failure. Your she is your God within, your living guardian of destiny, your original covenant with creation. And once you remember that nothing, and I mean nothing, can stand in your way,